strange battle. He loves them, those watchers, so intimately. A living connection, a love they can see. He wanted to give them all that he could, so they could embrace him, just knowing the good. To show all whom he was, to teach them his love. To join their steps, as they searched out his trove. Encouraged to touch him, his love to impart, their gaze holding steady, from the cradle of his heart. He will tell them a learning, he will show them a way. He will walk them a journey, day after day. He lovingly, carefully, set man a stage, where man could grow daily, page after page. And said to the watchers,
Man is like me. Watch him grow daily, sustained by my tree. I gave him my image, I gave him my heart. I'll give him my wisdom, but only in part. But man will have seed, and his seed will grow too. The rest of my wisdom, they'll learn, and show you. Thus constrained in time, the lessons will slow, pacing your study, to learn things, I know. I'll keep man a lesson, but he will be free, to choose, to learn from me, and eat, from my tree. This tree, will my knowledge, and wisdom, impart. And the eater will grow, clearly showing my heart. The joy and the wonder, the hope and the grace, the love of the Father, you'll read on man's face. Man's actions will compound, compassion will grow. Life will clasp life, and slowly you'll know, the love I enfold you, the life I impart, living water, flowing, straight from my heart. Here's what I look like. Here's who I am. Watch me grow daily, portrayed as a man. In living flesh, slowly, my soul is revealed, as man's souls walk daily, in time growth, sealed. Here is my likeness. Here is my brush. Paint them a picture, show them, you must. Walking, and doing, day after day. Tied to my heartstrings, in a puppet-like way. Puppets. Not ever. Their walk will be free, choosing each moment, to grow just like me. Beholding, and changing, so all can see, a righteous reflection, that looks just like me. Showing, the watchers, choice after choice, how I can mold those, intent on my voice. A living connection, a vital array. In harmony, building, my temple, each day. For as they grow like me, my presence is near. Closer and closer, till boundaries disappear. Walking among them, my soul can converse. Teach them, and show them, of things not rehearsed. Revealed, in their mind's eyes. Sealed in their hearts, showing the watchers, my infinite parts. A sign of man's allegiance. It's simple you see, as daily he seeks, to eat just from my tree. The enemy. I know him. I made him. He's mine, and he seeks to harm man, to mar the sublime. His ways are not open, his ways are covert. So man must avoid him, or man will be hurt. The lessons will cease then, the watchers to teach. If man is defiled, he can no longer preach. No longer reflect me, man will be confused, not knowing my words, from the enemies used. The watchers will take on a different stance than what I intend, as intelligence dance. Man's school will then teach what cannot be, Man's life will then unfold to all the enemy. To man in my image, as a sacred trust. I'll give him a choice, and choose me he must. And each seventh day, I'll renew the tie that binds us together, in my strength allied. If his choice turns to me, in a constant gaze, not seeing the wiles of the enemy, crazed, I'll confine that foe to only one place. He can offer the man his devious traits. One tree will grow pages with lessons of death to teach man the wrong way and steal his breath. One source of those pages, one taste and man's lost. One choice, disobedience, and then all is lost. No more will the watchers be sure that they see, revealed in the lessons, can only be me. But if this does happen, I will make a way of escape for my loved ones, caught up in the fray. The law that condemns them to die, I will take upon my own body, in a son I will make. Exchanging for heaven, a life as absurd, I will walk as man's brother, a life on man's earth. Till foe shows his thoughts plain, in reality. His hate for the Father will then destroy me. So all will see clear, as I hang on the cross, a triumphant portrayal, as I seem to have lost. My life as a testament, clearly will show, the intents, so covertly, planned, by the foe. Till the foe shows his intents, and forfeits his place, then praise from all heaven, and Father's embrace. All of their errors, I'd take to that cross, purchasing freedom, for those who are lost. I'll rise then, the penalty paid, and set free, this sacrifice, offer, to all who'd be free.
This terrible picture, him nailed to a tree? For this lesson endeavor, how can that be? To teach us his love, he would risk us to know the path of destruction, in following the foe. But how could it happen? Man could not go wrong. With his gaze on the Father, pressed close as a throng. Eating daily from the leaves of heaven's book of life, each page pure with knowledge of truth and of light. Learning and caring and loving each other, weaving a picture of keeping your brother. Each one a word in the story of life, all bound together to reflect his great might. As he gazes on man, his heart is set free to walk among his precious souls, his perfect testimony.
But foe had other ponderings, to build a strategy, to steal their gaze from his great light, so they're cast out, like me. He knew his place, this tree is mine, so I'll do as I please. The leaves are mine, I'll write upon them all I can conceive. The truth? Who cares? Upon my leaves will anything be seen? The stuff I'll write, the man will smite, beyond their wildest dreams. I'll teach the man a thing or two, I'll snare him through the years. With what I know, compassion? No. I'll elevate their fears. I'll sprinkle lies upon the pages growing on my tree, so lessons learned will make the man grow daily just like me.
He looked and saw the ponderings, but trusted to his plan. To pluck and eat, the choice of meat, would daily prove the man. And every seventh day the bond, 'tween him and man would grow. Beholding constant, changing man, his character to show, and teach the watchers of his grace, and therefore testify of his great love for all, and so his law to justify. The law the foe now used to create pitfalls for his own. With seeds of doubt, lure subjects out the kingdom of his throne. The lessons would continue, even though the foe was nigh, as man chose the breath of heaven, and held his gaze on high. If they should fall, then he would call the ransom plan to view. The lesson's aim would then be changed, but all would continue. Oh no! Woe, woe, the foe, he's triumphed for a spell. The battle's on, what will be won, who will he lead to hell?
Oh yes. These souls are sinners, so I claim them, they are mine. I'll capture and destroy them with my pages, line by line. My leaves I'll bind up in a book, so they can share with others. My lying tangled schemes I'll wedge, tween mothers, daughters, brothers. They'll taste my leaves, get sick with doubt, the Father then will cast them out. Lost and confused, they'll search my leaves, for comfort, courage, and reprieve. But no, the Father's law will stand, condemned forever, by his hand. Bound to my side with cords of sin. Rejects of the Father, with no hope within. I'll show the heavenly watchers then, just how I view the law, this thing that e'er condemns me, which they all hold up in awe. It's just not fair, I'm not to blame, I'm his creation, condemn his name.
The leaves upon the tree of death teach knowing good and evil, results of which will teach mankind confusion and upheaval. The leaves and fruit are plucked and fall as dead upon the ground, but new ones bud. The Father's teaching new life can be found. And so the seasons join the fray, as spreading sin leads man astray. The Father's secret message is, to captive souls, who pray.
Though death overcomes, I will go down, and take the keys from him. He will not hold my precious souls, bound up with him, in sin. As spring breaks forth, beneath the warming power of the sun, new light will resurrect the souls, that ever hold my Son.
The Father looked, and in his great love, spoke to his own, taught them from above. He walked with them, through thick and thin, and guided them out of the snares of sin.
Write all on my leaves, tug the blessings in showers. How I care for my loved ones, and highlight the flowers. Tell all of your journeys, through this valley of death, and how I will save, with my Son's dying breath. Bind these leaves in a book, which is made from a tree, so that souls still may eat, so that they may be free. Hold until the end. I'm here, be not afraid. Though the law will condemn, the debt will be paid. Tell mine to look forward, till I send my lamb, in sacrifice, in symbol, till my Son's a man. He'll pay the blood price, that my law demands. And plead your case with me, your life's in his hands. His love will release you, from this world of sin, and open wide, heaven's door, so you may come in. As sons of the Father, as tokens of his love, testify as living lessons, in his kingdom up above.
Spread my leaves, drown out the Father. Find his leaves, hide his leaves, make them a fire. Spread my words, teach my words, keep the souls bound up in sin. Never let them see the fathers, for they'll find release within. Keep the Father's leaves a secret, never tell. By their ignorance we'll bind them, by their chanting we will blind them. Find them, feed them, lead them, bleed them, bind them well. Daily with my lies deceive them, till I've branded them and sealed them, and I've bound them in my own triumphant hell.
And the bones of the martyrs, piled high as a hill, though lions and fire devour, they love him still. And each saint, the cruel foe, emblazed on their mind, had others soon convicted, with blood ties that bind. So bound as family, held close with his love, which poured like a tide, from the Father above, this living tide swelling their hearts, they could see, distinctly the relinking, of man's family tree. Not by father or mother, but only rebirth, can assure you a place, in his family on earth. Resemblance in manner, his child can be seen, walking in his image, with hearts that are clean. Though the foe be enraged to destroy, it is shown, foe's ultimate intent is, I want the throne. So the Father hid his loved ones, in the bosom of the hills. Far from fire, far from foes' lies and twisting of their wills. There he nurtured and he held them, and he healed their awful pain. There he strengthened, and prepared them for the coming early rain. Time was ripe, his Son would come as man, to overcome the foe, and man would first-hand see his word, his Father's love to show. And tell those in his family, just how the foe designs, the capture of the man, who is not safe in his confines. Well, the foe, his wrath was kindled against man, and he said,
You try withstand me if you can. Your first brother I destroyed with just a whim, when he plucked my knowledge offered on a limb. If you concede me now I'll grant you life, for it's mine to take or give you if I like. Reject me and you'll see, you'll be hanging from a tree, and just how do you think, that this will set them free? With all their sins upon you, your Father's wrath will fall. Not upon your so-called brothers, but you will bear it all. At the crossroad you will find, you'll be trapped with them in time. You will see your mission end, and victory's mine.
But the victory was the Father's, all could see, with his Son, broken and bleeding on the tree. God, child of the Father, sent down from above, revealing the Father, to man that he loved. The link between earth's time, and eternity, the bridge over trouble, from sin to set free. The Father hid from him, and so he went down, to rest from his labors, sealed up in the ground. The third day, the Father's heart called unto him. He answered, Here am I, your Son, still man's kin. He rose to the Father, triumphant all praised. The watchers now seeing, the end of foes' ways. But man still was blinded, man still could not see, earth was not convicted, foe still held the key. O woe to earth's fathers, O woe to earth's sons, so blind they could not see, just what they had done. But Son now stands for them, with hands open wide, the holes showing clearly, and turning the tide.
Look up, man, my brothers, look up and you'll see. I'm pleading the Father. He's listening to me. I'll tell of the battle, I'll tell of your plight. I'll tell how you hold on to me, how you fight. I'll offer my death in exchange for your life, and fetch you to heaven to live in His light. Hold fast till I come back, my coming is nigh. Look up and press close, I'll uphold you on high.
Foe's tactics now are plain, in man's anointed holy vision, and safe within the Father's love, men stand by their decision. These men, the holy chosen, to Son's walk they testify, recalling step by step, each drop of blood that justifies. Their hands record the testament, bestowed on those He'd won, so man can see what falls on those acquainted with His Son. His blood forever ratifies the seal upon His will, and testament reveals His Father's grace for others still. Man's heritage of grace was purchased by the Father's Son, who traded death for life eternal, for those souls He'd won. The way is hard and fraught with pitfalls set up by the foe, but man is saved by standing on the Father's bright rainbow. Now foe could see clearly all he had lost. Too late now he counted the terrible cost. Enraged he now persecutes every man.
If I can't have them, then no one can. I'll multiply the leaves upon my knowledge tree, I'll fill them with all things that they choose to see. I'll help them invent a fast-feeding device, and with pictures of death, their hearts I'll ice. Through eyes and ears, I'll wage on them war, till His voice is heard by them no more. My music I'll mangle, and blast in their ears. Desensitized then, I'll intensify their fears, till exhausted, broken, cut off from the Father, they obey all that I command them to do. Rather, my claims against heaven will then surely stand, as proof that I am God, for so says the man. Watchers, see, I'll prove, beyond any doubt, how unjust the Father was, to cast me out. If man has a bridge to go back into glory, then for me it must be so too, end of story.
The watchers all knew then, it was all so plain. Son paid for the law, though he'd little to gain.
Little? He cried, oh, their hearts may be small, but to me they are priceless, I value them all. They'll be gems in my crown, they'll be stars in my eyes. They will sit at my table, for they are my prize. To glory the Father, from sin all set free. To live here in heaven, and eat from my tree. Those leaves which, all healing, earth's nations despised. And choosing foes' knowledge, God sick from His lies. My tree, with eternity, served from above. The Father's life-giving fountain of love. For nations, all healing, almighty to move. The Father's connection, His subjects to prove.
Oh man, can't you see through the veil, to the foe? How He's closing your heart's doors, so you will not know the voice of the Father. He's calling your soul out from destruction, and out of death's hold. But pleasure has won you, held fast in His grip. He's feeding you pictures of pain on this trip. These pictures fast changing, converting your way to mirror His envy, his character portray. You cannot withstand his insidious demands. Alone with the foe, you are clay in his hands. Your strength's in the Father, for he is the law. Obey and be free. To escape, he's the door. But first you must choose to shut up your eyes, to shut up your ears, so you can't hear his lies. If you chose the Father, the rest he will do. With hedge he'll surround you, so foe can't come through. Just you change your focus, behold and you'll see, you'll look like the Father, his namesakes you'll be. Foes burning in anger, he's seething at man, caught up in the battle, doing all that he can. Tossed this way and that, in the tempestuous sea of lies and deception, spread from foe's tree. Hail! Where are man's bearings? Where is the light, house built on the rock, and held firm in his might? Foe's leaves fall like autumn, he covers the earth with death and destruction, destroying man's worth. As bound up in sins, they sit glued by the eyes, taking in hours and hours of lies. As pages flash pictures, quick making them move. The lifeless in motion? What does this prove? Not proof but illusion, makes images dance, to get man's attention, as they sit entranced. But idols are history, they've fallen from grace. Man does not recall, as they flash in his face. He grows like his heroes, for so it must be. As lessons reflect, out of those that study. Man, look to your learning, time you cannot waste. Be careful to choose right, of wrong do not taste. For all man is given, the same lot in time, to prove his alignment, close to the sublime. Man, hold on to Father, man, cling to the Son, as pleading, he reminds you, of all he has done, to offer you heaven and eternity, the blood of redemption, from sin to set free.